Okay, I'm looking at this, and there's a couple things I don't like about it. This is the day after Christmas. I don't like these little circles that I put in. I'm going to take those back out. There's some here, and some up there. I don't like those. I like these red lines and dots, and I like these black dots and these black dots, but I'm not liking, I guess those are the only ones that I have. Yeah, so I'm going to take out the little circles, and I think I'm going to put a little bit more bright red right here, and maybe do a little bit of drawing with the pink. That's about it, because I do like what I have. I just don't, those circles to me make it look like it's too planned out, and I want it to look more spontaneous, so, and raw. And I took a lot of that away, so I want to put a little bit of that rawness back in, if that makes sense to you guys. So that's the plan. And I'm going to go back into those circles with my pink. I pushed them back. I think what I'm going to do is put a little white into it, and that will, because the white is opaque, that'll be better. Okay. I think I'll put a little bit more white and then come back over it, because I don't want to see those at all. Where else were they? They were down here. And up here. In fact, I like that little bit of white up there. Make it haphazard. Yeah, I lightened it up a little bit up there. I don't like that white there though, the white up at the top. Wipe some of that off. Yep, that looks better. You probably can't even see that. Here, I'm gonna move that down a little. Now see, that's too bright. I just put Quinn Red down there, and that's too bright. So we'll figure it out. I like that. I like that Quinn Red. A little bit of white in it. It's pretty. Let's try some of this. Tone this down just a little bit. That's better. That's better. But I do like that Quinn Red. I think I'm going to put a little bit of it over in here. That's where those circles were, right there. And this is Golden's Quinn Red that I'm using. I barely see those circles now. Up there, where else did I have them? I had them down here, which I've already covered up. What I'm doing is I'm putting a pale pink down and putting a little bit of that magenta on top of it. Just covering up these these red dots just a little bit. Pushing them in further. Do I like that? You probably can't see what I just did. I drew up into those shapes up at the top, and the answer to that question is no. Why don't I like that? Because it brings your eye right up to the edge, and I don't want that to happen. So, and I'm going to go back in to some of the areas and put a little bit more black in. Put a little bit more drawing into there. I think I'm going to get a smaller brush, draw a little bit into that. And what I'm doing is I'm mixing as I'm going. I have some white, I have some quin red, and I have violet, and I have that real light pink. So, and I'm just kind of mixing as I go. Which I am liking. I just wanted to look more spontaneous, and this helps with that. Just looking at it to where it might need a little bit of more color, where it's kind of blah. I think I'm going to put a little bit of color in here as well. Then I'm going to put some bright red into here more. And I think I'm going to do the exact same thing with just a little bit of purple. Again, notice where I'm holding my brush. I'm really liking this, guys. Now I think I'm going to put a little bit of black in, and just to darken a couple of those areas that I want to darken. Very little. I don't need much. You probably can't even see the changes that I'm making. It's so minute, but it's making it look more spontaneous close up. have to be careful about an angle, that I break that angle. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but I broke that angle just ever so slightly, but I don't think it was enough. Now this is the same height as that. I'm going to bring this down a little bit more. And I just put water in my brush, so those black lines here are just visible. You can't see them from here, from back there, but I'm just looking at each shape separately and seeing if I can make the shape more interesting. Take the time to evaluate your shapes. Don't like this shape right here. Mess it up a little bit. All of my corners are different. Put a little bit of water on my brush again, see if I can make some real faint black lines so they look like it's history and underneath. And that will dry like so. I think I'm going to make some black lines right there with a lot of water. Push it way back. And maybe I'll blot it a little bit. Now see, that does look like it's way back. I like that. I'm going to do a little bit more of that, because right here, this is basically a restful area right in here. So I don't want to put anything too much. I mean, you can barely see this. Now it looks like it's pushed way back and you can't see it. but it gives it a little bit more emphasis down there. Now I'm going to do a little bit of red right up and through here, and then I think I'm going to be finished, guys. I'm going to do a little bit of purple. I'm going to do a little bit of purple before I do my red. Starting to lose a lot of my purple. I'm going to stand back and look at it and see if I've added too much purple. And I don't think I have. I need a little bit right in here. I'm going to put a tiny little bit of red. Now this is red. This is Naphthol Red Light and Quin Red mixed together. I'm going to try another brush. My brushes, my strokes are starting to look too much alike. See, now that's bigger. Looks a little bit better. Now I'm going to get that same red, put a little bit of doodads down here, not much. Then I say, is that too much? The color I'm mixing up right now is the purple, the Quin Red, and the Naphthol Red and white. And I'm thinking I'm going to do some purple and a little bit of black. I like that color. I'm going to have to go back over this with black again. But that kind of brings you across. It up. Don't like that. This line right here. Put some water in my brush and see if I can get rid of it. Sure can. Can't get that area right in there the way I want it. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna shock you all. And I think I'm going to put in this color. It is Liquitex Turquoise Blue. And I'm going to put some white in it. See what happens. Because this is my focal area, and I mean, it's interesting, but it doesn't really draw your eye into it at all. And this, some of the purple's actually blending in with this. I don't know if I like it. You know what? I'm not crazy about that. I'm going to go into it with some white over top of that purple, see what happens. Kind of getting a gray. Don't like it. So what do we do when we don't like it? Cover it up or wipe it off, right? I'm using a different brush. There's just nothing interesting about that. This is giving me a lot of problems. You know what I'm going to do when all else fails? I usually go to my brayer. And that, my friends, is what I'm going to do. In the water, I'm going to wipe it off, and I'm going to go into it with my original colors, with my brayer, right into that area. And we'll see what happens. I'm going to dry it just a little bit, I think. I'm still using all the colors that's in this palette. And what I use for these little disposable palettes, I just use meat trays from when I get my meat in my grocery store. Can you see how that looks better already? Get some more of that color. Maybe that won't be my focal area anymore by the time I'm finished. Who knows? But this is what I do. You know, when I'm not happy with something, I just keep painting until I'm happy with it. And I am not happy with that section. Now, a lot of people would have quit because they said, it's okay. Well, it's not okay. So I'm just doing a bigger shade. I am kind of liking it over here. I don't want to change that too much, but I have to make it so it looks like it goes with the other. Then, I'm going to take some line work. Now I'm going to go into it with black, believe it or not. I want to turn that light out, see if you can see it, because it has a really bad glare right there. So you can see what I'm doing. Not better? You can kind of see what I'm doing better now. I did put I did put some marks, which I'm liking. Get some more black. See, that whole area is dark now. I have to go into it with some lights now. But I wasn't liking what was happening, so I covered it up. That's what you do. Like that. You can see they're all different. Put one more over here. Small one. See, I look a lot into my screen. I can see it so much better in my screen. Now, I know you can see it better than I can, but I can't see it. It's too dark for me, so I'm going to turn the light back on. Now, if you see it from a distance, it looks, there's a dark shape here. Now, I need to break into that shape with lighter colors. And looking at this, I'm thinking I have too many lines going this way down here. I'm going to have to get rid of some of that. Lord have mercy. Am I ever going to finish this painting? Am I ever going to? Kind of haphazard, but I do like it. Now, that improved that area a lot. Now, looking at it in the screen, can you see that big H? There it is. It's almost gone now. I like that color. Okay, the H is gone now. So now, looking at that, I'm thinking, I really like that. Okay, that has kind of become a back to my focal point. And I like the haphazardness of those marks. I'm going to put some Quin red lines into it with my brayer. See what happens. Pure Quin red. This has white in it. This is pure color here. Okay, I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to go into it with some black squiggles. I think I'm going to make a wet black so it drips. then I will wipe what I don't want. It's very important not to have them the same width apart. I'm just going to have this one definite one right here. Make this one just a little bit shorter. Have them different lengths. But I'm just going to do it a little bit. I like that. There's some of it back. Like I did over here. Okay. Have a lot of it pushed back. I'm going to paint in some shapes that I see. But when I see that, I say to myself, is that too much? Maybe I'll do some black squigglies over that. This is good for you guys to watch because you can see how I'm struggling. We all struggle. I have this coming across, straight across. Maybe we'll put a little bit over in here. I think that's just a little bit too much. I'm going to wipe some of that off. I just want it right here, I think. It just kind of duplicates this a little bit. Maybe we'll just put a little bit further over, just so it looks like it's a continuation. I don't want it to go out at the same place. I'm going to bring this one down a little bit. A little bit up and through here, so this doesn't look like it's the last thing I did. Hi, Nook. Finished. I think I need something right here. Where was it? Right in here. And this is bigger than what I was doing. That gives it a little bit of structure. I like that a lot. That's almost like a heart, which is too much like a heart. Smaller circle there. I think I'm going to put one down in here. Smaller one. But I need to mess that up. It looks too perfect. Get a paper towel, wet it, and wipe part of it away. Just wipe part of it away. That's not so perfect looking. That's better. Change up the colors just a little bit. Okay, I think this one needs to be painted yet. Just a little bit too bright. There, that's better. Every one that I paint, I'm wiping. over this. At the end, I am very, very particular. Some things that I look for. I'm looking at these lines up here, and these lines are all the same thickness. So I'm going to go into some of those lines and make them smaller. And this is a combination of the coin red, the orange, and the white. Now I'm going to put some white and stuff over this. But this is way too thick. I mean, these lines are way too thick. I'm going to go in it with different colors to make it look as natural as possible. That looks better. See, that looks better up there now because I have changed some of the width. Not crazy about this. Look better, guys? I changed a lot of those lines, and I think it does. I just don't want it to look like I painted it purposefully. Those are the things that I look for. Okay, my lines are different. Is there anything that stands out as unusual? And a lot of times it looks, if you look into the screen, you can figure it out more. I needed to do that. One thing that I can see that I need more of is a little bit of this. Kind of connecting with the drip here, which I'm liking. I am finished. Believe it or not, it took me almost 3 hours to finish this. I can't believe it. Cannot believe it, but I do see one thing that I want to do here. I have a lot of black in that. A lot of people are afraid of black. I am not. I like black. Some of the things that I'm going to give you
are the corners. Are the corners different? All four corners are different. Are my shapes the same size? No. I have color taking you across and down. Does anything stand out as unusual? No. So, I'm going to give you a closer up so you can see all of the minute things that I did, and you can see my pencil marks. Where can you see my pencil marks? Down in here you can see my pencil marks. There you can see my pencil marks. There you can see those circles that I ended up painting a little bit. My drips that I covered up here and there. Let's see some of my pencil marks right there. You can't see them from a distance. And this is my focal area. There you can see how I change the width of my lines. And even there are different thinness and thicknesses. You can see a lot of history on this painting. A lot of history. I like that orange in there. Pencil lines. And I think that this area up here is working much better than what it was up in there. So that's my main focal area. And now I have other areas that are very interesting, such as this one over here on the left. And I like these squiggly marks that I brought up from the bottom. And you can see they're different heights and different widths. So I think it has structure, and it has a lot more spontaneity than what it had when I started. And that was, believe it or not, that was 3 hours ago. Okay, here we are. Thanks for watching.
And am I sick of working on this? Yes. I looked at it this morning and I thought, you know, I really love it, except for one thing. A lot of this, and this goes to show you, oh, I have to turn this light out. A lot of this is the same value. So it just goes to show you, I screw up too. So I have to put some light in this. It's this side over here is good. There's light and value changes in this. But over here, there's no value change whatsoever. So I'm going to work on this a little bit. So that's the plan. And if I spend more than 15 minutes, I'm going to shoot myself. Because last time I worked on this, and I don't know how much I'm going to edit out, but the last time I worked on this, I worked on it for 3 hours. And I thought I was finished. Today I look at it and I say, you know, it needs a little bit more light in areas. So I don't want to spend a whole lot of time today. So I'm going to hold myself to that because I love this painting. It just needs a little bit more light. That's all it needs. So we're going to get started now. And I'm going to turn this light back on so I can see it. You'll see a lot of glare once I've turned the light on, but I can't really see it that well. It's much lighter on the screen than it is in person, so I have to put more light on. So now I can see it, but it's a lot of glare for you. So I think what I'm going to do It's just lighten a little bit of this up. I think what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take a wet towel and blend that a little bit. Gives me a little bit of light up there. I want the kind of the same thing over in here. You can see I'm not putting it everywhere. And then I'm going to blend it like I did the other one. Blend it with my fingers first. Liquitex Rose Pink. It's a little bit lighter than this color. Put it down, wipe it off. Just make it a little bit lighter. That gives me a little bit of value change in there, which I'm liking. Put a little bit of more purple into it. I have to find my purple. Put some pure purple into it. And this purple that I'm using is Liquitex Brilliant Purple. I'm just going to put a little bit of line in here, just because this is so warm right in here. What the color is, I don't know if you can see this color or not, but it's kind of a lavender color, but it's more pink than it is lavender. And that is that purple mixed together with the pink. Okay, I think I'm going to just put a tiny little bit of black in with my purple to make it a little bit darker, to give me a little bit more value change. I do have some value change there, but not a lot. So this is kind of a grade purple. It's that brilliant purple with ivory black in it. It almost looks like a gray, which is a good thing. And I'm liking that because it gives me a neutral. I'm going to change brushes to my thinner brush. And I want to right into that so it doesn't look like it's the last thing that I did. I'm going to take this, add a little bit of white into my pink color. See what happens. Lightness. Gives me a little. take something over top of that line so it doesn't look like it's the last thing I did. I'm going to bring some of this lightness over to here. Becomes an eye path, and it's going to take me down. Okay, now I have to take something over that. Maybe I'll take some of that purple, grayed purple that I put some black into over that, just to push it back a little bit. That is nice. Well, no, you can't see it, but I really like that. I'm going to do some more of that. That is rose pink and vermilion together. Coming across. I'm going to put that color somewhere else. I like that color so much. I have it up here. I have a little bit right there. It's really important when you introduce a new color that you put it, you integrate it with the rest. I think it might be nice a little bit in through here. Put it down, mess it up. Changing. It's just this area right in through here. I stopped right here, and I'm going to put a little bit right in through here. A little bit of orange over in this area. I'm going to change that line up a little bit. I think I'm going to change this just a little bit. And then I'm done. I said I was going to keep it to 15 minutes, and it's been about 15 minutes. I want to make this more interesting, and right in through here. Change the value of all of these. Blend it a little bit. I really like that. Some of the shapes are bigger, like this is a larger shape. And this is what I want you guys to do, is I want you to go in and look for shapes and fill them in a little bit. And we'll put some pink over top of this one, just so it looks like it's blended a little bit more. This is why it's good not to work on something for a couple of days. Now, I haven't worked on this for about 2 days. What I'm doing is I'm putting a little bit of deeper pink into some of those areas, so it just doesn't look like I went in and painted it that color. I want it to blend in a little bit better than what it is. So I'm changing the value just a hint. Now, since this is going straight down, I do see a shape here and a shape here and a shape here, which I might go ahead, you probably can't see it, so it's not straight down, it's also over here. So I'm going to try that, and if I don't like it, you know what I can do. One of them's right here. There's one right here. There's one right here. Now that gives me a little bit more interest over here. These are the things I look at. Now I see this line here and this line, and I'm thinking maybe and that has broken up those lines. I like that. I'm going to do one more area. See, I haven't worked on this side at all. I'm just very, very lightly touching this. And it looks like history. This brings me across, holding my my brush way at the end, and I'm just barely touching it. Which is good. Okay. Add a few black dots here and there. have black dots here. I had them here at one time, and they've disappeared. A little bit there. Changing these lines up just a little bit, putting lines into the line, which is making that much more interesting. Okay, I'm done. I know you guys are going to laugh. The only thing I do see is that there's nothing on top of this white, so I have to take one line over that white so it does not look like it was the last thing that I did. That did help that area. Can't see it, but it did help. Okay, guess what? She's finished. Take a little bit of black into that spot. Yep. Okay, I'm going to give you a close-up. Once again, how many close-ups have you guys had? Lots. And I've been working on this for 41 minutes. 15 minutes turned into 41. So I don't know how much I will end up editing out. Okay, thanks. Happy New Year. Well, by the time you see this, New Year's is going to be over. No, I'm going to show you this on Thursday, New Year's Eve. So I have a 3-hour video session, and I have a 41-minute session, and I'm going to cut it down to about 55 minutes, because a lot of times you can't see all the little changes that I make. So a lot of times I will cut those out. So, but I will give you a close-up. Thanks a lot, guys. I just want you all to know that I really appreciate each and every one of you. Let me take this bright light off. And I'm so thankful that you have chosen me to be one of your creators in Patreon, and appreciate you so much. I really do. And let me know. I'm gonna do a survey sometime real soon on what you prefer. I asked you guys about encaustic, and I got a pretty good response back that yes, you would like to see encaustic, but one thing that I failed to tell you is that it's a 3-season medium. I cannot do it over the winter because I have to have ventilation. I have to have my sliding glass door open and my window open, and I can't do that in the wintertime. So I hope you can see that I do have some value changes here now that weren't there before. So I am really appreciating this. I like my line work. And again, this is a 48 by 48. It will be going into my studio after I varnish it. I think I'm going to put a satin varnish on it. And the way I make my satin varnish is I use Liquitex. I use the Liquitex gloss, medium, and varnish. So what I do, it's half gloss, medium, and varnish. And then it's 1/4 matte, medium, and 1/4 water. That's how I make my satin finish. So it's half gloss, 1/4 matte, and 1/4 water. Sometimes it's a little bit more than 1/4 matte and a little bit less than water, but it starts out with half gloss. So that I don't buy satin varnish because I always have matte and I always have gloss. So I just make my own. So. And this will be, like I said, this will be going into my millwork studio after it's, I usually let my acrylic set for about 2 days before I varnish it, because I want the acrylic to be good and dry, and then I varnish it. And then the day after I varnish it, I take it in. And this one will be selling for, I'm gonna put this one up for $1,400 or $1,500 because it is 48 by 48. Harrisburg prices are a lot lower than big city prices. In a big city, I could probably get 3,000 or more for it, but not in Harrisburg. So I have to remember where I am. Happy New Year, guys. Love you. Bye-bye.
Okay, this is straight on. And it's definitely a warm painting. There's a lot of purple in it, but the dominant color is pinks and reds and oranges and peach colors. So, and those are warm colors. So I'm going to go close in so you can see some of the changes I made. If you remember, right at the end, I was changing my line work. I was putting cross hatching into my line work. You can see it there and over here. I did a little bit of it down here, but not much. But and you can see all of the circles that I lightened up. There's different colors in them. They're not all one color. And I brought it down here. Put a little bit up there, and you can see there are various colors. I brought it down. There you can see them as various colors. Various colors. And they're a little bit lighter there. Then I have pinks into them here. Then I'm going to continue to go down, down, and there's a bright red one, and down and down. So, and there is some additional line work that I finished. And here is one of the lines that I put in at the end to bring you across. And you can see I started and stopped it. In some areas it's darker, in other areas, like right there, it disappears almost completely. And that's when you do your line work, you want to do that. And I took my orange across. As you can see, there is a color path for that. Let's stand back and see if you can see that orange going across. Can you see how it takes your eye across? And the black lines take your eye across. Then I also have some more circles over here, but I didn't touch those because I wanted these to be secondary to the ones on the right-hand side. So here's the bottom. And you can see these marks right here. They don't even touch the bottom, but those two black areas, well, three black areas, are just sort of suspended in the air, which is different than all the rest of them. The rest of the lines touch the bottom. You can see my black dots there a little bit. Some of them I've taken down. I added a little bit right there. Then over here, I have some that I added. I can find them on here. There they are, right in there. So it's just a little bit. See it up here. I think it's lovely. I'm very, very happy with it. And I wanted to make something warm because almost all my paintings are cool. And I wanted something warm and happy and spring because I am sick of this COVID. And thank God we're going into a new year, 2021. Let's all hope and pray that it turns into a better year than what 2021 did. Thanks a lot, guys. Happy New Year.